very important to us. The response and how just lovely everyone's been about it. So that's why we did this script. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, what he said. Let's play a music. Yeah, I know.
Keith, aren't you?
Yeah.
That film was made with the express permission of the producer of Merlin, who asked us to make that film like that. Definitely approved. Thank you all for coming and for watching it and stuff.
Thank you.
So we're going to do a little Q&A. These wonderful ladies are going to moderate it and ask us questions and stuff, and then Rupert Young is in the audience with the tongue. No, we'll probably get Rupert to run around with a microphone. Would you like to do that, Rupert? You'd love it, wouldn't you? You'd fucking love it, I know. So yeah, so I don't really know what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of just see what happens here. You guys know what's going on.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll do a few little questions which Dave hopefully got prepared or else we're all screwed. And then we'll go around and answer any questions.
Mate, you know, there's a queue of people out there. And it always amazes me to see lots of people turning up to these sort of things. So, thank you for coming. It's pretty awesome.
People turning up to go to the cinema amazes you. Gotta get out more, dude. Leicester really not doing it for you.
Watch a film.
Okay, lots of dark twists in that film. I bet people were expecting those. Tom, what was your reaction when you first read the script?
Well, there's a few drafts of the script. So the twist of the girl being dead was fairly real, wasn't it? But the mum being a stripper was that was a shocker. I mean, you just experienced what I experienced about 12 months ago. It's not good, but yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And yeah, initially when I was talking to Tom about the film, it was just about two brothers, and all the scenes I gave him were just basically the two of us. And he was like, great. And then when I did give him the script, he was like, what? I got really confused. I was like, no, you got to watch this to in Paris, Texas, which of course he never bothered watching. He's like, it's fine. He watched the end. What was your question?
It was for Tom.
Oh, sorry.
So the scene with the mother and Tom in the letter is really intense. How was it for you to portray, and how was it for you to write?
For me to portray, I mean, I don't know how you ever. I mean, my mum's in the audience somewhere, and I've never played that out with her. Hopefully, never will. Is that? Yeah, thanks. Correct. Yeah, I don't know how one gets into one's mental state for that. How did I do that? I remember just thinking, I'm really confused. What's going on here? How was it for you to direct? Or write? Write? Or both?
It was actually great to direct it, because Tom and Helen were great, and it was really easy, and they both got it, and so it was actually a pleasure. And yeah, writing it was just one of those things that just kind of happened, and it just kind of came about. I'm not really too sure where it came from. I got my mom to read the first draft of the script. I'm deadly serious, because my mom used to study theatre and did an MA in theatre studies and stuff, so thankfully she got it and didn't think it was me being really weird, some weird subliminal crap going on in my head. She actually understood what I was trying to do with it. But yeah, it kind of made sense to me. It was kind of, well, I was trying to just look at what would you do in that scenario. It's a really weird, messed up scenario, which I don't think is probably beyond the realms of possibility, because, you know, how would you approach meeting a mother if she was in a strip club? The best way is obviously just read her a letter. I hope that she understood that the hell you were talking about.
Jack's very aggressive to the older dude. Later, Tom's really nice and really kind of reverential. Was this a reflection of the father's relationship?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look at you, Jesus. God, really think about that. Yeah, it was meant to be, yeah, because they don't really have a very strong, there is no strong father figure in their lives, which I hope, and we didn't want to do anything to do with flashbacks or anything like that. I wanted to keep it quite simple, that you made up your own mind about it, but it was pretty clear that they didn't have a strong role model with the father, so Tom is with that guy, he doesn't really understand how to cope with him, and eventually, when he does lose his temper, it all flares up, and I think that's kind of a culmination of everything. That's what that scene, when he does kill him, was meant to be. It wasn't just about the girl, it was like, this is everything all coming out at once. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
The scene with the mother again, the brother's relationship really turns its pinnacle in the film, sort of. How was it getting to the mindset to do such an emotional scene? And, you know, it's, like I said, it's the pinnacle of the film. So.
Sorry, which scene was that? Owen was rubbing my arm with the microphone, I got distracted.
The starting point with the brothers.
Yeah.
How was it getting the mindset? And then that everything led on from that.
I mean, it's, like I said before, I mean, it's a weird thing to try and get into that mindset, but I think what you can do is think of, you know, if you started a relationship with your mother and then not seen them for years on end, I suppose, you know, if you try and get into that mindset, that's the only way of looking at it, really, I suppose. Because we both had, you know, really good relationships with them, so it's quite hard to sort of figure that one out. But, you know, you just have to, we're actors, guys, that's all we do. You know, you just have to sort of figure it out, what that person would be going through.
So, Owen stated before that films stem from desire of your type, stem from desire of yours to play Lennon with Mice and Men. Did you, both of you, use anyone for inspiration for your characters?
Did you? I didn't. All I had was yes, I did. I always wanted to play Lennon at some point in my career, because you know, I'm a big fella, and this looked quite good. So when I spoke to Owen about that, that was. But I never actually took anything from anyone. I don't like to take things from people in terms of performances. You know, you have influences and things like that, but. I didn't like, you know, it's very easy to sort of copycat things, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't watch. I haven't watched the film of Mice and Men and things like that. I didn't watch that, and I think it was important that this was a standalone script, and I just sort of tried to create something off the page that Owen had written, and yeah, that's probably my way of doing it.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, I wrote it for Tom, and then for all the other characters in it, I just played it opposite everybody else. That's how I kind of created a character in terms of just reacting to what everyone else is doing. And with Tom, once it written and we spoke about it, I just let Tom go and create the character in his head the way he wanted to, which I think was really important. Because we didn't want to go and try and copy anything, and it is a very difficult. Tom had a much harder task. My character just act a little bit drunk and just, you know, react to Tom and get a bit angry and confused and upset. So just basically played off Tom and off everyone else who's in it, and that kind of made my job easier. By the way, is Rebecca Knight still here? Is she gone? Rebecca Knight was here. She's had a baby. The girl who dies, the dead girl. So that's some kind of nice little transition from life to death. Yeah. Sorry? Oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it? So this is a love story. We do some audience questions. Oh God, that reaction was really just, yeah, come on, like don't get too carried away or anything. Are you gonna go run around and ask questions? take a long time.
Hi.
Hello.
That was so wonderful to watch. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I was just wondering, I've come to a lot of conventions now and I've kind of got a vague idea of what it's like being active. What was the process of editing the movie? What was that like for you?
In terms of what? Sorry.
Just putting it together once it was done, once the filming was done.
There's a couple of things in editing. One is because then you realise stuff that you wish you'd shot. And the thing with Cold was, I mean, we shot it only about 14 days. And yet there was still like 60 minutes of footage that we cut. And the hardest thing is actually losing scenes that you kind of think you like to cut a scene at Mike Figgis and stuff, which I really wanted because I love Mike, it was a great scene. And that was one of the hardest things, actually cutting stuff, and it's actually getting the pace right, because I wanted this to be quite a slow burning film. In the editing room, I was actually going, fuck, I wish we'd shot this, I wish we'd done that. But it was actually, yeah, because you're just kind of worried, did you actually do it right? And you always kind of find things you miss or wish you had done. I could keep talking for a long time about this. I just say the same thing over and over again. Anyone else? Oh, wait, turn around, go back up the stairs. Wait, back up.
First, I want to say that was just a really good movie. And what really gave you the inspiration to write it and direct it the way you did?
It stemmed, as I said, from wanting to do something with Tom, because he wanted to play a certain type of character. And that's where it came from, because Tom just basically said he really wanted to play this character, and he's getting upset because he kept getting typecast as being really tall, good looking, and beating up people. God, yeah, real sorry for him, yeah, God, that's terrible, isn't it? So I felt sympathy for him, and his plight as an actor, having to play really cool parts all the time. And I basically wanted to challenge him. I think, and then I directed it that way because I just, totally my favourite films have been like Three Colours Blue, or Kieslowski's movies, and that was kind of, I tried to go along with something like that. So Rebecca Knight was like my little Juliette Binoche, and Tom was also Juliette Binoche. Yeah, kind of, that was kind of the tone I wanted to get across with. Originally, actually, the music was a bit different. We had a saxophonist in it, and Mike Figgis was playing the trumpet and stuff. But then when Kev did the music, it changed and became a bit darker. So I had meant to be a bit, the music was a bit more French, as it were. It just became quite dark. Can you say music's French?
Right, thanks. Firstly, that was just wow. And each one of your films though leaves me traumatised in some new way. The dead dog, we have a film without a dead dog. And Tom acting in sleep.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
So just to pick up on the music, I mean, it was lovely to hear Agora, I'm a big Agora fan. I just wondered how you sort of developed the music, what was already in place and what was new for the actual film.
That's a good question.
Well, before I'd actually written their album, so actually I was actually listening to some of their stuff when I was actually writing some, because Al would give me a lot of their tracks before they finished. And so yeah, I was actually listening to a lot of Agora. What else was I listening to? Bon Iver as well, that kind of stuff, and Ryan Adams, and all that kind of melancholic, you know, pull your heartstring type stuff. But the actual score, I just let Kev come up with it, because he came up with this really beautiful score, like all the stuff when Tom's character's kissing Rebecca and all that kind of stuff. He's one of these really beautiful pieces of music. I totally agree.
Hi.
It's fine, hi.
That's fine. That was great. I really didn't know what to expect because you, I think on an interview you did in Belfast, you said you're going to try and keep back a lot of information about what the movie is, and kind of giving the audience a surprise, and I definitely was. I mean, I missed the first minute, so I don't know if I missed something integral.
There's just lots of shots of dead foxes and stuff.
Okay. Because I don't know, I have a lot of questions and I'm really sorry about this. You said it was inspired by Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, partly because Tom said he wanted to play the character. But did you feel it was important also to carry over themes from that original story, or was it that relationship that you wanted to focus on between the brothers? Because you didn't follow the plot. You didn't have Lenny die at the end. Well, excuse me.
Oh no,
Tom.
well, the thing is, no, it was just kind of inspired by it.
Well,
Just-
yes,
just-
that's what I mean. But,
Yeah, just kind of from a tonal point of view, because I always love that relationship between the two brothers, and I've always loved how Steinbeck has approached characters, and they're always quite nuanced, and there's always, whenever you read his books, you know, you kind of get lost in them, and that's kind of what I hope to do with this. I can hopefully that if you got sucked into, you get drawn into the world between the two brothers, and I think. You know, it's a cathartic, there's a catharsis between the two characters that they both go through what they need to go through and then they both forgive each other. I mean, it's actually, Jack's character forgives Tom for murdering loads of people. You know, but then in a lot of Steinbeck books, all the kind of characters are very, very dark and things have happened to them, and I kind of just wanted to examine that. And yeah, it just kind of came from his writing. It wasn't exactly the story per se, but it was.
I got that. I saw one of the important things I've always found with Steinbeck stories is the focus on the landscape. And you chose such a beautiful place, which is a depressing place.
I used to go on my summer holidays there. Remember that my sister's here. We used to go there all the time. It was nice and pretty, wasn't it?
I mean, sorry. From colors, I mean, it was very gray. It was very blue, and that contrasted with the red of the room where the stripper was, where your brother was. Kind of interesting because it was passionless, despite the fact that it was so red. And I don't.
No, I get what you're saying. That was a conscious decision. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen The Field, the Irish film, and they focus an awful lot on the moors and the kind of the landscape becomes a character in itself, and that's what we were trying to do with that. And then with the colours, it kind of made them quite muted to kind of take down any sense of emotion and kind of just make it quite stark. And then the reason I wanted all the reds in the stripper was because it's really beautiful, but it kind of, there's that, I mean, dare I say it, there's that kind of, there's almost a
sensuality?
Yeah, there is a sexuality with the red and the purples, and then with the, sorry?
I said sensuality.
Sensuality and sexuality. I meant sensuality. Yeah, but that was a conscious decision to kind of have a juxtaposition between the stark colours of the cityscape and then the muted colours of the countryside. Clare is available for going on holidays at the tourist board of Clare, big supporters of this film.
Really? Okay.
The countryside and hang out at the village.
Hi.
Yeah.
So obviously you're both incredible actors. And I'm interested in at what age you started getting interested in acting and actually wanted to take that as a career?
I was a robot. A musical called Return to the Forbidden Planet. I played, which is based on The Tempest, actually. So I'm playing what Colin's playing in like the much better version of my part. And then I just got really into it, and then went to drama school with some boys who are here tonight at the top there. And I was expecting a little cheer then, but they let me down. I got a hello from one of them. Politely. And then, went to drama school, and I sort of got the bug then and was like, that's what I kind of want to do.
I didn't want to be an actor until I was in college. And then I went to join the Drama Society because I was in science and there was no girls in science. And there was just loads of girls in the Drama Society because all the guys were gay. So that just naturally seemed like the best place to go. And then I was like, this is quite fun. And then I began to really enjoy it. And I was like, oh, I'm really good at this. I decided. No one actually told me, I just decided. But yeah, that's where I came from.
Hi there. Want to add my absolutely brilliant, especially Tom's performance, absolutely amazing. Loved it. I want to know whether you're planning to work together again at all, anything else, as this has gone so well.
Hopefully. I mean, I always, I'm going to let you answer because he might not tell me he doesn't want to work with me again. But I always just want to work with people that I want friends with, and actors I've worked with, like this, well, Rupert and Anna are all sitting there, and I kind of want to work with good actors who you kind of trust and who you're friends with, because then it's also fun, and then you can trust each other. And I'm kind of over Tom now, I spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah, he's just under a pants at mine now. I think you'd be good, you know, it was a good experience. And the thing is as well, that the reason I enjoyed the process was we did it on such a sort of a small crew and small little budget that it was a very intimate thing. And when you make a film in that environment, it's pretty cool, you know, because you just get to know these people really well, and you're all working for each other, you're working as a team, and on these huge productions to sort of catch you if you fall. And when you're working on such a small little production, you are the people that catch you. You know, you're the ones that are dealing with everything on a daily basis. You're making sure you make the time. There's no one there to say, come on, we've got to get through, we've got to make sure we get this shot in. You know, you're the guys doing that. So I'd like to do another one with Owen, you know, and sort of making it like that, because that's what you get from doing films like this. It's cool.
Hi, just wanted to say thank you for an absolutely incredible film. This question is for Tom. I noticed that your character in the film has a very complicated relationship with the space he takes up, like his physical size. And you did mention that you get typecast as, you know, big beefy guys who beat people up. I was just wondering whether you could relate to Tom in the film with that sort of feeling.
As in me, myself?
Yes.
I'm fairly loose with my limbs, to be honest. I don't mind. I'm a hugger. I like a good hug. So I had to sort of find things that there was a big OCD element I found to this Tom, and like the sort of the little things that he found that he had to have right. And there were certain bits that you saw, certain bits that were not in the film, but unfortunately my granddad in his later years, when he got quite ill at one point, and he started to get like this kind of OCD thing, and I took a lot from him, like just sort of little things, just watching him and the way he would clean something, the way he would go through a process of doing things. I found it quite interesting that he at one point wouldn't be like that. He wasn't like that at all, and he sort of developed that. And I thought it was, you know, in my head I had this backstory that Tom at one point when he was a kid maybe wasn't like that. It was something that changed him, something that he went through, maybe the thing with his father that then developed this OCD thing. It was something that went through his head that he developed this spatial, you know, awareness thing, that he didn't like people coming close to him, and it was all this, you know, he's just claustrophobic all the time in his own body. He feels heavy because he's clumsy, and he's aware that he's clumsy, but you know, he's not comfortable in his own skin. So I really tried to sort of put that across really.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I think you just answered the question, but it seemed that your character had an autistic side, from my point of view, and I was wondering how you developed that as your character, what research you did into knowing how to be autistic, or what he was bringing across.
Yeah, I mean, there was an element of autism and an element of a few things. I mean, there's the thing with Tom, there's an amalgamation of issues that guy's got. I mean, one of them being an element of schizophrenia as well, I think. And I think, you know, I've spent time with people with autism and stuff, and he does have that. He doesn't really have, there's not a huge element of a sense of humour with him, not because of the things he's gone through, but I think just it's who he's become. And I think there's so many different elements to him that I tried to bring out, but I didn't want to do one solely. Just, you know, he's autistic, he's schizophrenic, he's got all these different things going on in his head, and that's why he's such a complicated character, because he has these feelings that hit him so strongly, especially when this girl comes up and he, you know, and she's dead. And he of course doesn't realise that. So there's all sorts of things going through that guy's head, and you know, autism being, you know, the very tip of the iceberg, I think.
Hello. Hi there. As a lover of the pre-Raphaelite artists, I noticed that you used Velia on the jigsaw.
So that was obviously to represent or to link in with the fact that you're going to be drowning. But was there kind of like a nudge towards the fact that you've been involved with something to do with Camelot during Merlin? Is it going to be like a trademark?
No, it was actually just because I was in New Jigsaw we could find. Aoife, who was the AD, I told her I needed a jigsaw of a girl in the water, and then she happened to find one of Ophelia, which actually seemed to work because the whole Greek tragedy type of idea. I didn't specifically want one of Ophelia, I just wanted a girl in the water, and then that seemed to be. But yeah, it was nothing to do with Merlin or Camelot or anything like that, no. Well, it was fluky only because what the jigsaw was, but that was what I had wanted. It wasn't, I hadn't we didn't spend a lot of time trying to find a very, I just wanted a girl in the water in the kind of lake, and that was the kind of jigsaw we found. But yeah, the idea was a bit more of the jigsaw initially. It was meant to be that Tom was actually building the jigsaw as he went through, so once he actually found the girl, the idea being that night, you're not too sure if Tom's killed the girl or who's killed her, and to kind of, as a little kind of story, was meant to be that he was building this jigsaw every day until it was actually finished. And it was almost meant to be perhaps a representation in his head that he was creating her character in his head or completing the fact that she was dead or alive. And then we just kind of the jigsaw thing, some of it we just didn't use in the edit and just wasn't. There was a lot of extra things we kind of cut out. And back to your editing question, there was just certain things that you just became unnecessary, became too big, and there was actually an awful lot going on in the story. And just realised we could have just, it would have just all got a bit lost. But that was the idea with it. And making that jigsaw was a pain.
Hi guys, I thought you guys were absolutely brilliant in the movie. I especially loved the music as well. I was just wondering if you guys plan to release a soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people here have actually got the perks for that. We are going to give it the soundtrack and the digital download of the film. So yeah, there is going to be a specific soundtrack of, like, because the Aurora got 6 songs in it, and then Kev's written all the score pieces. Yeah, we will do. It's a difficult one because once, from now, this is why I was saying that if no one puts up any footage that they filmed of it, because now we have to try and meet salespeople and send it to festivals, and it's when you're an indie film, you have to be very careful about how to get it released and meet the right people and things. It's a fine line with getting the right distribution and so forth and see where we can go with it. So once we actually get something set, then we can actually go and release the soundtrack. But we definitely will, because it's beautiful, you know. So yeah, that's Kevin Wims, by the way, did the soundtrack. So if you want to, Kevin Wims, if you want to Google, he's very talented.
Hi guys, wonderful film, in a way. I was just wondering, Owen, as a cinematographer, how did you decide on like what shots to use?
Yeah, you know, part of it. There's a lot of shots that I missed in the film that I want. Part of it was dictated by time, in terms of if you, from a cinematography point of view, it's all on a certain line. You know, I would prefer to be able to kind of make the film deeper and have more depth within the film in terms of certain scenes. But basically, because of the way time was, I had to decide, right, we're actually going to shoot everything from this angle, and then you kind of just cross this line in terms of weird close-ups and medium shots. And that was dictated by, we didn't have time to change over and relight things and do this and that. But I also wanted to keep it as much like a painting as possible and keep everything in the frame. There's a lot of things happening in the frame. I wanted it maybe, there's a couple of scenes actually which we cut where I'm swimming in the water and Tom comes down and we have a little chat, and it's really lovely. But I wanted it all in one shot, so I just love that idea of having it look like a painting as much as possible and then keeping all the action in the one shot. We have to be careful because we weren't able to do too many dolly shots to create that much movement on it. It then becomes too static. But that was, yeah, I was very specifically trying to create something like that so you could just take each still from it and it would look beautiful. Yeah, so even if you hated the film, you'd be like, oh, it's very pretty.
Hiya. This is a question for my daughter who can't be here today because she's had to work. And she's really angry with me.
Because you came and left her at work?
Yeah. That's what mothers do best. She's actually doing a degree in digital film production, and she wanted to know why you chose the red
over the cameras like the 5D?
Because the Red takes more time than shooting on the 5D and the C300 and all these other ones and the Sony cameras, but the Red has got, I mean, we did the film, the lenses we had, a lot of it comes down to the lenses. The lenses we had were quite basic, they were the standard Red lenses because they're what's most expensive and it costs you money to have the lenses. But shooting on the Red allows you to project it on 4K like that, and it still looks the same way it does when you look at the image on your phone, for example. If you shoot on the 5D when it gets blown up, it looks very flat. And the 5D's got a look of a 5D, it looks very digital. And I wanted to create, because of, the 5D is great for kind of intimate films, but if you're going to do something that's quite big in landscape, the 5D doesn't suit that. And that's why landscape shots, and that was a big part of the film. And it wouldn't have worked the same way in the 5D, it just wouldn't have. Would have been easier to make the film, would have been quicker, but specifically wanted for those big shots.
And she wants to know, do you want to try the Red Dragon when it comes out?
What's that?
It's the new camera that Red's bringing out.
Sounds like a comic convention.
Yeah.
The Red Dragon.
Peter Jackson.
Do you want to try the Red Dragon? It's a little bit dirty, isn't it? Do you want to try the Red Dragon? Sounds like a bomb or something. It does, yeah.
Peter Jackson's using it at the moment.
You know what, to be honest with you, if someone gave me money, I'd shoot anything.
I'll let her know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask a much less technical question? Why is the film called Cold? Maybe it's obvious to somebody else, but I just go on with it.
What are you laughing at?
Give me my voice. I had a dream, right? I had a dream. When we were shooting on Merton, I came in, I had a dream. It was originally called something else, like something... No. Please remember this. Right. I had a dream, and I came in and I said, I had a dream last night. We called the film Cold. And you went, cold. Yeah. Cold. You remember?
And I managed to convince myself that something to do with the starkness of emotions, and I came up with it. You came up with that title, didn't you? I did. I told you a big waffly answer, didn't I? I didn't. You haven't read the interview we did with him. Whoa. It sounded great. It sounded like I knew what I was talking about. Yeah. It was actually, there was no title. The working title was just called Tom and Jack. And I just called Tom's character Tom purely, it was just easier to write it in final draft. I just started calling him Tom, and I couldn't be asked changing the name. And then it just seemed to fit. It was just easier on set calling him Tom, because he's called Tom. So, but then you came up with the idea for the title, didn't you? Because we were trying to figure out a title, and then, you had a dream.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember waking up and going, that could work. Because I was thinking about, the cold